Some nights change everything. You go to bed thinking it's just another regular evening, but then something happens that makes you see the world differently. This is the story of one of those nights in my life. My stepson Marcus had always kept his distance from me. We lived in the same house, but it felt like an invisible fence stood between us. He spent most of his time alone, in his room or with his friends. I tried to connect with him many times, but nothing seemed to work. He stayed in his own bubble while I wondered how to reach him. One Tuesday evening, Marcus brought home his good friend David. I had met David only a couple of times before, and we never really talked much. David was really tall with long legs that made him look even bigger. He was the quiet type who didn't laugh loudly like Marcus or talk a lot. He moved around like he was always thinking deeply about something important that he kept to himself. Even though David didn't speak much, you couldn't help but notice him when he entered a room. It wasn't just because he was tall or wore nice clothes. It was the way he looked at everything carefully and slowly, like he could understand things that others couldn't see. He had a calm and grown-up way about him that was different from Marcus's other friends, who were always noisy and full of energy. David seemed older than his real age, like he had learned things about life that most young people hadn't figured out yet. When David came into our house that evening, he gave me a small nod. He wasn't overly friendly, but he was polite. His look made me feel like he noticed everything around him and understood things without asking too many questions. I wondered why Marcus and David were such close friends since they seemed so different. Something about David made me interested to know more, and I felt there was a deeper side to him that most people didn't get to see. Later that evening, after Marcus and David had been hanging out for a while, I went to my bedroom as I always did. I didn't think anything special would happen. The house was peaceful and quiet, and I expected it would stay that way until the sun came up. I was already starting to fall asleep with my eyes getting heavy when I heard a gentle knock on my bedroom door. The knock was soft, just a light tap. At first, I thought I was imagining it, or maybe it was just the wind making noise. I stayed still, thinking it was nothing and whoever it was would go away. But then I heard my door opening slowly. The creaking sound made me sit up a little bit. I turned my head and saw David standing there by himself, with the hallway light creating his shadow on my bedroom floor. His face looked calm, but something in the way he looked made me feel worried, like something wasn't right. He didn't smile or say anything at first. He just stood there staring at me, and suddenly the room felt colder, like the air had changed. David's eyes stayed fixed on me, but there was a weird expression on his face that I couldn't figure out. My heart started beating faster, and the air in the room felt different in a way. That made me uncomfortable. I didn't understand why he had come to my room so late at night. I didn't know if something bad had happened, or if he needed my help with something. My thoughts were racing, and I started to feel a strange tightness in the air around me. I sat up in my bed, waiting for him to explain, wondering why he was standing at my door at this late hour. "Is something wrong?" I asked in a soft voice that shook a little. I wasn't expecting anyone to come to my room, especially not David. He didn't answer me right away. He took one step into my room, still not saying anything, and then finally he spoke. "I can't fall asleep," he said in a calm voice that didn't match the strange feeling in the air. "I thought maybe you were awake too." His words confused me. David couldn't sleep, so why did he come to my room? Where was Marcus? My heart started racing faster, but I couldn't understand why he was at my door. Nothing made sense to me. I should have told him to leave right then and go back to where Marcus was. But for some reason, I didn't do that. I could feel the heavy silence between us. It pressed down on me like something heavy on my chest. I cleared my throat and tried to sound normal. "You need to go back to bed," I said, hoping he would listen and leave my room. But David didn't move at all. He stood there, looking at me with that same calm look on his face. "I thought we could have a conversation," he said. His voice still steady, like it was the most normal thing in the world to do. My chest felt tight. "Talk right now." I looked at the clock on my nightstand. It was after midnight. My mind was racing, trying to understand what he wanted to talk about. Marcus was his friend, not me. Why was David coming to talk to me? My gut feeling told me something was wrong, but I couldn't figure out exactly what it was. "I think it's too late for talking," I said, trying to sound strong but not mean. "We can talk in the morning." "You really need to go now." David stayed right where he was, just standing there, watching me closely. His eyes barely blinked, and I felt like he was waiting for something to happen. Something I didn't understand at all. The silence between us got louder in my head, and I started feeling more and more worried. It was like the walls of my room were moving closer, even though nothing had actually changed. The air felt heavier, like I was stuck in a place I didn't want to be in. I moved around in my bed, pulling my blanket closer to my body, and that's when I realized something scary. I hadn't locked my bedroom door. I really wished I had locked it. The thought of that unlocked door made my chest feel even tighter. Why didn't I lock it before bed? I never thought I would need to, but now with David standing in my room, it felt like a big mistake. Something about him being there didn't feel right at all. I couldn't explain it exactly, but a strange feeling was creeping through my body, like an invisible weight pushing down on me. It wasn't just the way he stood there, or the fact that he was in my bedroom so late. It was more than that. It was how his eyes never looked away from me, like he was searching for something on my face, something I didn't know how to give him. My heart beat even faster, and my mind raced, trying to understand why I felt this scared. David was Marcus's friend, someone I had seen before, someone who had never made me feel like this before. But now, everything felt completely different. The quiet in the room felt strange and uncomfortable. The longer David stayed, the more I wanted him to leave immediately. But David didn't leave my room. Instead, he took a small step further inside, and I felt my heart beating even faster than before. His eyes had something in them I couldn't understand, something that made me very uneasy. The way he looked at me now wasn't like earlier in the evening. It was different, almost like he wanted to say something important, but the words were stuck inside him. The air in the room suddenly felt thick and heavy, like there wasn't enough space to breathe properly. The room itself seemed to get smaller with every second that passed. My chest tightened as I watched him take that step toward me, and I didn't know what I should do. I had never felt this kind of pressure before, and it really scared me. I thought about telling him again to leave, but my voice wouldn't come out right away. It was like I was frozen in place, stuck in this confusing moment, not sure what would happen next. Should I yell for help? Should I jump out of bed? My mind was filled with questions, but nothing made any sense to me. Before I could say anything else, David took another step closer, and then without any warning, he sat down on the edge of my bed. A cold shiver ran down my back. His presence felt disturbing, and it was obvious something wasn't normal about this situation. My mind raced with thoughts, and I didn't know what to say to him. Suddenly, Marcus appeared in my doorway. I thought he would be angry or shocked to find David sitting on my bed at such a late hour, but I was surprised when he didn't seem upset at all. Instead of asking David what he was doing or why he was in my room, Marcus walked in with a relaxed look on his face. He sat down casually on the other side of my bed, like it was perfectly normal for him to be there. His face showed no emotion, like he knew something I didn't know. It was weird, like he was acting as if nothing strange was happening at all. I looked back and forth between them, my heart pounding hard in my chest. The room was filled with heavy silence, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was really wrong here. Why was David in my room? And why didn't Marcus seem to care about it? I wanted to ask them both what was going on, but my words felt stuck in my throat. The uncomfortable feeling hung in the air like thick fog, making it hard to think clearly. What's happening? I whispered so quietly I could barely hear myself. I wanted answers, but at the same time, I was scared of what they might tell me. Neither of them spoke right away. They just sat there, David on one side of my bed and Marcus on the other side, like they were waiting for something to happen. Marcus and David looked at each other in a way that made my heart race even faster. It was like they were sharing a secret message, some kind of understanding that I knew nothing about. I felt completely left out, like I was watching a movie without knowing what the story was about. My mind started thinking thoughts I didn't want to think about. I think we all understand what's happening here, Marcus said softly, his voice way too calm for the situation. It was strange to hear him talk like that, so serious and controlled. I looked at him with my heart pounding hard. This wasn't the Marcus I knew, the fun and carefree guy who loved to joke around. I wanted to understand what was happening, but everything felt confusing and twisted. Like I was stuck in a weird dream I couldn't wake up from. You see, Marcus continued slowly, taking a deep breath, my friends and I have been keeping this a secret. But the truth is we really like you a lot. We've talked about it many times. And tonight they gave me the courage to finally tell you how we feel about you. I blinked in surprise, not sure if I heard him correctly. They like me? My heart raced as I tried to process what he was saying. Was he really telling me that he and his friends had special feelings for me? I felt a mix of confusion and nervousness bubbling inside me. Marcus was looking at me with serious eyes, and I could tell he meant what he was saying. It was strange to hear him say this out loud to me. I wondered what it meant for all of us, and what would happen next. Would this change everything between us? I wanted to ask so many questions, but my voice seemed to disappear completely. Before I could make sense of anything, Marcus and David moved even closer to me, their faces looking very serious. I could see they really wanted to talk more. Marcus looked straight into my eyes and said, "We've always felt something different when we see you. It's like our hearts start beating fast, and we can't help but feel this pull toward you." David nodded his head, adding, "It's hard to put into words. But when you're around us, we feel this warm feeling in our bodies. It's like something exciting is happening inside us. We just wanted to know if you feel the same way too." I sat there with my mind spinning from what they were telling me. They were saying they felt something special for me, and it made my heart race even faster than before. I never imagined they could feel this way about me, and I wondered if I felt the same kind of excitement they described. It was a lot of information to take in all at once, and I wasn't sure how I should react to them. To my complete shock, Marcus and David started taking off their clothes right in front of me. I couldn't believe what my eyes were seeing. My mouth dropped open as I wondered who gave them the nerve to do this. They slowly removed their shirts and pants, showing themselves completely to me. There they stood, looking at me with serious faces, like it wasn't weird at all to be doing this. "We have nothing to hide from you," Marcus said in a firm, calm voice. My heart raced so fast, and I felt my face get hot and red. I was confused and surprised at the same time. Why would they choose to show me this? My mind was filled with so many questions, and it felt like I was in a dream that made no sense at all. The room was silent except for the sound of my breathing, which seemed really loud in my ears. I looked at both of them, trying to understand what was happening in my bedroom. Marcus had always been my stepson, and David was his close friend. I thought I knew them pretty well, but now everything felt completely different and strange. "Are you both serious right now?" I finally managed to ask, my voice barely louder than a whisper. They both nodded their heads, their eyes never looking away from mine. It was like they were waiting for something from me, maybe for me to say something or react in a certain way. I felt my heart pounding in my chest, and I wasn't sure what I should do next. Why now? I asked, trying to make sense of everything. Why are you showing me this? David stepped closer to me, his face looking softer. We really admire you and we wanted to be honest about our feelings, he said. It's not just about what you can see with your eyes. It's about what we feel deep inside our hearts. As I listened to them, I felt so many different emotions at once. Part of me wanted to tell them to put their clothes back on right away. But another part of me was curious about what they meant. What did they mean by these feelings? I had never thought of them in this way before at all. Marcus took a deep breath and said, "We thought you should know the truth about how we feel. It's really hard to keep secrets, especially when you care about someone a lot." I could clearly see their bodies and I noticed they were both physically excited. It was surprising to see them like this, and my own body started to feel strange and different. I didn't know why I was reacting this way, but my heart was pounding hard, and I felt a mix of confusion and curiosity running through me. Suddenly, Marcus and David exchanged quick looks at each other, and I could tell they were both nervous, but also excited about something. Then Marcus spoke up again. "We planned this whole evening so we could all have fun together," he said, his voice shaking a little bit. David smiled a little, trying to make me feel better about the situation. "We thought it would be a night you'd never forget. Something really special," he said. But I wasn't sure I felt comfortable with this idea at all. They looked at each other again, and I could see them sharing some kind of secret I wasn't part of. The feeling in the room was electric, like something big was about to happen. And I didn't know if I was ready for any of it. Marcus moved closer and sat down right next to me, and I could see his whole body clearly. He said, "Come on, don't pretend like you don't want this. Let's do it together." His hand touched me gently, and he said, "Come on, enjoy yourself." It felt soft and warm on my skin. Before I knew what was happening, he was slowly pulling my blanket away from me. My body started to feel different, like a warm wave of excitement was washing over me. I didn't know why, but I felt ready for something new and exciting to happen. It was like Marcus and his friend had planned everything so perfectly that it was hard for me to say no to them. I could feel my heart pounding with curiosity, and a small voice in my head wondered what might happen next. I couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and nervousness, wondering what they wanted to share with me. It was a moment filled with many possibilities, and my imagination started to run wild with thoughts. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my racing heart, eager to see where this unexpected night would take me. As the blanket was slowly pulled away from my body, I felt a rush of warmth spread through me. My heart pounded and I sensed something special was about to happen in my room. Then, unexpectedly, I felt a soft kiss on my lips. It was gentle and sweet, sending butterflies fluttering around in my stomach. I had never experienced anything like this before in my whole life. The kiss felt like a door opening to a new world full of warmth and curiosity. I could hardly believe what was happening to me, and my mind buzzed with excitement. The moment was magical, as if time had stopped just for the three of us. I knew this was a special connection I would remember for a very long time. That night, they didn't want to let me sleep at all. They encouraged and pushed me, saying it would be really fun if we all spent the whole night together. I could feel the excitement in the air around us. But after that first kiss on my lips, I made my decision about what I wanted. I told them both firmly that I didn't want to go any further than this. Even though I felt a rush of emotions and my body was curious and wanted to experience more, I held my ground and stood firm. "The kiss was nice," I said, my voice strong and clear. "But I can't go beyond that with you both." They tried to convince me with their soft, gentle words. But I knew what I was comfortable with and what I wasn't. I appreciated their kindness and attention toward me, but I was very clear about my decision. It was a moment filled with tension and understanding, and I felt proud of myself for listening to my own feelings and boundaries. After a long moment of silence, Marcus and David decided it was time for them to leave my room. They had planned for the evening to be full of fun and excitement with me, but it seemed their plan hadn't fully worked out the way they wanted. The only thing we shared together was that one kiss. I could see the disappointment clearly on their faces, and it made me feel a little sad inside. They seemed to have hoped for something much more to happen, but I knew deep in my heart that I had made the right choice for myself. As they stood up to leave my bedroom, I took a moment to gather my thoughts together. I knew they felt disappointed and let down, but I was also proud of myself for sticking to my decision firmly. I had listened to my own feelings, and that was the most important thing to me. "I'm really sorry if you're disappointed," I said softly to both of them. "But I just don't want to go any further than what already happened." They both nodded their heads, understanding my feelings, even if they didn't completely agree with my choice. Marcus gave me a kind smile, and David looked thoughtful and understanding. "We understand how you feel," Marcus said to me. "We just wanted to have a good time together with you." I appreciated their honesty with me, but I knew I had to stay firm with my boundaries. My choice was about what was right for me personally, and that was more important than trying to make someone else happy. As they walked out of my room, I felt a mix of different emotions all at once: relief, sadness, and a bit of hope for the future. Maybe one day we could all be friends and enjoy each other's company, without any pressure or uncomfortable situations like this one.